Christine Leahy joining me as always. They have turned the heat up.
Yeah, you have it?
Our engineers, pressured by
by my blanket.
Our commentary, have turned the heat up. Chris Broussard stops by this hour. Very good writer. Mike Wise is in studio, joining us in the last hour. Obviously the All-Star game was yesterday. LeBron James had a quote here. He said, L.A. is, quote, built for stars. It's built for entertainment. It's built for cameras, bright lights, great place. I hope everybody had a great weekend, said LeBron. I know I did. My family did. It was a great weekend. Listen, this is one of these things where, let's just be honest about it. There's a lot of envy and there's a lot of anger toward L.A. and New York. They're more important cities. They're more talked about. There's more money. There's more glamour. And a lot of Americans are like, turned off by it. Very coastal. I get it. But there's a reason that the NFL convinced Stan Kroenke to buy big parcels of land in Los Angeles to move the St. Louis Rams here. 4 St. Louis Rams don't eventually equal one L.A. NFL team. You can put the draft here, the combine here, Super Bowls here. You got to be in L.A. If you're Starbucks, you don't have to be in Buffalo and St. Louis. You've got to be in Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and Dallas. You've got to be. There are certain cities that matter more. I'll tell you who figured this out was Delta Airlines. For years and years and years, Delta had hubs here, Salt Lake, and had a hub in Cincinnati, and Delta had a hub here. You know what Delta's done in the last 5 years? $1.9 billion put into LAX, $1.5 billion put into JFK. They figured out that make your money in LA and New York. That's where you make your money. 6 Cincinnati's don't equal 1 New York. And this is what the NFL has finally figured out. Get teams to Los Angeles. It is where you can move everything. You can move Super Bowls, drafts, combines to Los Angeles. Executives want to live here. Scouts want to live here. Players want to live here. Doesn't mean LA is the best at everything, but it doesn't make any sense to hold the combine in Indianapolis. They're eventually going to move that thing. It didn't make any sense to have the draft in just one city. They're not going to move all the drafts here, but they're going to make it a landing spot for, and this is what Delta Airlines has done. They have decided, let's just go big in New York and big in LA. We'll make the money and then some. Let's stop spending money in smaller areas. It's not that we won't service the areas. We're not going to build around them. That's not where we're going to put our hubs. And listen, Adam Silver is a smart guy. He is the NBA commissioner. Don't kid yourself. LeBron in Los Angeles would be gigantic. A-Rod with the Yankees was a lot better than A-Rod with the Rangers and the Mariners. You notice how none of us ever talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Lou Alcindor's Milwaukee days? Shaq never felt as big in Orlando. Shaq never felt as big in Phoenix. Shaq never felt as big in Cleveland. Shaq never felt as big in Miami, and they won a championship. He felt bigger as a Laker with Kobe and Phil Jackson. And so when LeBron talks about L.A., commissioners can say what they want. They can say whatever they want. You don't need LeBron to be in L.A. for the league to survive. You don't. It's obviously the league is thriving right now. But LeBron in Los Angeles, are you kidding me? As a business, would be an absolute home run. Here's something else I noticed, and we're getting ready for the NFL Combine. So you're going to hear about measurables, height, weight, shuttle time, vertical jump, that sort of stuff. I want to give you the greatest all-time quarterbacks and how big they are. This topic's going to be about size. Tom Brady, 6'4". Troy Aikman, I know him. He's 6'4". Peyton Manning, 6'5". John Elway, 6'3". Dan Marino's 6'4". Dan Fouts was 6'3". Jim Kelly is 6'3". Warren Moon was 6'3". Big Ben is 6'5". Terry Bradshaw, 6'3". Roger Staubach, 6'3". Oh, you're getting it now. Baker Mayfield's 5'11 and a half. Sorry, I'll pass. Size matters in sports, and it always has. Oklahoma and Alabama's left tackles, that ain't about coaching, bro. 6'7", 340 and agile. They're big kids. They're big kids. You can't teach 6'7", 340 and agile. That's about coaching. That a lot of that is just DNA. Okay? Anybody notice who LeBron, it was unveiled, drafted? First, Kevin Durant, and he also went after Boogie Cousins. He also went after Anthony Davis. Did you notice LeBron's first 4 picks? LeBron himself is big. 3 of the 4 guys were big guys. Why? Did you notice at the end of the basketball game yesterday what happened? The big guys surrounded Steph Curry, and Steph Curry's team couldn't get a shot off. Never forget this about the Golden State Warriors. And I am a fan of their culture and their team. They're really fun to watch. And I am for player mobility. Never forget this. They didn't score before Kevin Durant got there for the last 4.5 minutes when it was just Curry, Clay, and Draymond Green. Game 7 of the finals at home. Didn't score for 4.5 minutes. Couldn't get good shots. Shots were altered. Never forget that, yes, they beat LeBron in Cleveland in the finals because Kevin Love never played. He was hurt, and Kyrie Irving got hurt in the first game. LeBron beat that Golden State team and then was going to beat him a second time. And then Kevin Love and Kyrie both never played. And they still took him 6. Is that this dynasty really became a dynasty with 7-foot Kevin Durant joining the team. LeBron beat this Warrior team and was going to beat him again and took him 6 with Matthew Dellavedova as the second most important person in the finals. Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron, remember, they couldn't stop LeBron. They still can't stop LeBron. So when people talk about the NFL Combine and they're talking about, I like this guy, the first thing Nick Saban looks at, the first thing Bill Parcells looked at, the first thing people look at is size. LeBron chose Durant, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins. LeBron himself is big. The Steph team was a small team, and that worked for a long time. But in the end, when Steph's team needed a shot, they couldn't get a shot off. And LeBron's team smothered him in the corner. And this is not a knock on Steph Curry. He is absolutely culturally significant. He's an awesome player. I think he's good for the league. I think he's a good dude. And I think he's incredibly relatable to kids like my son, who, when he wanted to buy NBA shoes, wanted Steph shoes. Because my son looks at Steph and thinks, oh, that's how tall I would be. I'm not going to be Shaq or Joel Embiid. So I'm not saying Curry's not great and not relatable. But when you talk about this dynasty, it's a dynasty because of Durant. LeBron beat him once and was going to beat him a second time. Like, LeBron didn't have any problem with this team. Who is the one guy last year in the finals they couldn't match up against? It was Durant. How do you match up with a 7-footer who's got Steph Curry's shooting touch? So as we go to the NFL Combine, you can tell me all you want about Baker Mayfield. I'm going to give you the 30 best quarterbacks who have ever played in the last, let's just say, nutritional standards have been better 85 until now. 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", 6'3", 6'3 and a half, 6'4", 6'5". You can tell me all you want about Russell Wilson. Like, he is an absolute complete outlier. And you can tell me about Steph Curry, but he's an outlier. In the history of the NBA, point guards do not lead you to titles. They don't. It used to be centers, and then it was wings. It was a Bird. It was a Magic. It was a Wilt. It was a Kareem. It was a Duncan. It was an Hakeem. I love Steph Curry. Durant is the first guy LeBron chose. Durant's the unguardable player at 7 feet with Steph Curry's shooting touch. And Durant is why, as smart as Steve Kerr is, and as great as Bob Meyer, the GM, is, and as great as the Clay Steph thing is, it's awesome. What makes him unbeatable is Durant. Because Steph's team yesterday in the corner found out what size does in sports. You can't teach length. You can't teach 6'7", 320-pound left tackles for Oklahoma, Georgia, and Alabama. Coaching can elevate it, but you can't take a 6'2", 280-pound kid and make him that left tackle that's going to be the first tackle chosen in the NFL draft. It's why I'm not a fan of Baker Mayfield, why I generally think the big dogs in college football always win. And in the NBA, LeBron drafted the team I would have drafted. Big, long, tall athletes. Really, really hard. Really, really hard to beat late in games. Chris Broussard is around the corner. Tim Tebow to Major League Baseball. Some thoughts on that. Guys, is your new and improved New Year's resolution already sort of a, how do I put this, mess? you're missing trips to the gym, not eating as well, that's where M-Drive comes in. It's nutrition science, clinically tested ingredients to elevate